think we're all. Yeah, there we go. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Who's Code again. I think Sid's still on mute.
What's up, guys?
What's happening? What's happening? It's a good
All
weekend
good.
for. It's been a good weekend for us as United fans, and I
It
think.
was a
Yes, of
good
course.
weekend. It was a good
It's a
weekend.
great weekend. But
Not gonna lie.
being a United fan in India is it's a it's
You
given
know
other
what? You know
sports.
what? Like
Yeah,
whenever we beat Arsenal, it's a good day. It's a good weekend.
yeah,
Trust
true.
me.
That is very true.
uh,
True.
but I mean, okay. Before we start, welcome back to a brand new episode of Who's Code again. We're doing the review of Game Week 6. A little bit of housekeeping to begin with. The people you're seeing on your screen, or you're listening to on the podcast, are our usual hosts. We do this episode live mostly on a Monday or a Tuesday on YouTube, and then this episode lives as a podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts soon after. The YouTube show is a more interactive experience, but the podcast is obviously something you could listen to at your own leisure. So even the YouTube show will still be here on the channel if you prefer a more visual form of media consumption. And for those of you who are watching already, please do like and subscribe to the video. It really helps us grow. We've been growing little by little over the last couple of streams. So any sort of encouragement would be super helpful. Now that housekeeping is out of the way, let's get there's only one place we could start. I wanted to ask Vishnu who was on the last episode to join us, but he's traveling at the moment. I didn't
Oh,
really want to like
would have been great
disturb
if
him.
he was here.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
funnily enough, he's actually in the UK at some point somewhere. So it would have been really funny to hear like what his perspective on the entire thing was. But I think there's only one place for us to start, and it's at Old Trafford yesterday, as United
Yeah.
took on the invincible Arsenal team that was going to go the season
The
unbeaten.
rejuvenated Invincibles, rather.
The rejuvenated Invincibles. Um, so much to take away from that game, but Akshay, like, did you watch the game? What did you think about the game?
So I watched it in bits and pieces. I was actually out watching the India-Pakistan match, funnily.
Oh, that was great, huh?
And this was kept on. I was watching the game on my phone
Uh huh.
with a few other people, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I was sort of in and out of the game. It was a great game. I was following it. Lovely game, good football. However, we again couldn't keep the ball for more than 10 seconds at any given point in the first half, at least. Uh, and Arsenal were quite attacking and uh, getting into the final third much more than what we could.
Mm-hmm.
And when Martinelli scored, I was like, shit. And then I saw the replay again, and I was like, yeah, definitely a foul, and foul on build up by, I think it was Odegaard, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So let's backtrack a little bit on what exactly happened, right? So United would start the game like a house on fire, 15 minutes of pure dominant possession, and then Ericsson gets the ball somewhere near the halfway line, is quickly tackled by Odegaard, who kind of goes nowhere near the ball. He makes, and it's not a shoulder to shoulder either, so I don't quite see the complaint. He basically kind of barges into him, gets his ankle, kind of also pushes him a little bit,
Yeah, I
and
think there was
Ericsson
this like
falls.
nudge.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
nudge, and then Ericsson falls, and Paul Tierney, who is the ref, the highly contentious ref apparently for the evening, um, decides to decides to play on, and then Saka releases a beautiful ball, which sends Martinelli through, and Martinelli ends up putting the ball on the back of the net. The moment I saw that foul happen, I was like, okay, this is definitely going to get brought back, because if it doesn't get brought back,
yeah,
it's stupid, it's silly. And this weekend there have been a fair amount of contentious VAR decisions.
yeah, quite a
So
few. Yeah, which
yeah,
have gone uh,
yeah, so yeah, exactly.
against who should have gone. Yeah,
Yeah, against Chelsea. I mean, for Chelsea, Newcastle also had a very strange decision, but this was probably the least controversial decision out of the out of the three so-called controversial decisions.
Mm.
And then, but somehow you think that would have pushed United on, but it kind of pushed Arsenal on a little more. I think they felt that they were, um, I mean, they were they were galvanized by the so-called injustice, and off they went, and they dominated that half for about 20 minutes before an 18 pass move uh, opened up Arsenal, like starting all the way from the keeper, and that sent Anthony through on goal and to slot it into the back of the net. I still have no clue what Ramsdale was doing for that goal. I have no idea
Mm.
why he decided to dive to his near post. Was he trying to give him the eyes? I like the way Anthony shaped up. It was always going to go into the far corner, and Ramsdale just made his work 10 times easier. I don't think Anthony
Yeah,
had a great game to begin with regards to uh, with regards to the first half. He kind of seemed a little out of it, but great first goal, and
yeah,
obviously,
debut
like
goal. Yeah,
it's a wonderful feeling to have, right?
yeah.
Um,
One of 23, one of 21 players.
One
Who
of
got
21, yeah, yeah. That's so
21,
that.
like 21 out of 21. Yeah,
I see, I see. Okay,
yeah. And
Sid.
funnily his jersey number is also 21.
But
Coincidentally,
yeah,
right? Not
yeah,
not funnily.
coincidence, the high coincidence, I would say. Ajay in the chat still says the foul is soft, but the foul is a foul. So this is my reasoning for that thing. If it had happened to Arsenal, Arsenal fans would have been screaming for it, and any team that this had happened to, they would have been screaming for it. So that's really the justification.
But you
Uh,
see,
and
I understand why it's justified, but I honestly like VAR is bullshit. Like, let's call it like we see it. VAR is a shit show at the moment. I mean, it's
I
got
don't think it's.
it's got some things right. I'm not saying no, but I just think over the weekend, I mean, the last 2 3 weekends, I've been watching every single game, or at least
Mhm.
trying to watch all of the games. But I at least managed to watch 4 5 games.
Mhm.
The Chelsea game was a horror show. Oh my god,
Oh, that was a bit mad.
Yeah,
that was absurd. Like, yeah, I mean, as a Chelsea fan, I'm sure Dodge will say like I don't even know if I could justify it if I was a Chelsea fan. That was a foul. That was an absolutely lucky decision. But whatever fans I spoke to, all they said was we had quite a few decisions go against us. It's time something went for us. Yeah, see, at the end of the day, it's the law of averages. It'll always catch up. You'll win
Yeah,
some, you lose some, right? But
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that was a contentious decision if ever there was one. And then after that, the McAllister one, when he
that
scored a
was.
blinder of a goal.
yeah, that
Oh
was a
my
great
god,
goal.
that was a
Great
brilliant
goal.
goal. I can't believe they chalked that for offside, dude. It was like millimeters. Like, I don't think
It
it
was
was
like
offside, honestly.
one hair, like not even a
Yeah,
hair's
it's like
length.
yeah, and even the Villa and City, the Coutinho goal. How did he raise the flag even before Coutinho shot the ball?
That was a very strange decision. I think
How?
we'll.
Yeah,
I mean,
they normally they're supposed to
these days
finish
with
the
the
play.
whole, yeah, they're supposed to finish the play before he raises his flag.
Yeah,
It just didn't make any sense. Like, all
It,
four of the decisions were really contentious. I think the least one of the lot was, of course, the United Arsenal, and I'm not saying it because I'm a United fan. I'm just saying of the
Mhm.
four, that was the least contentious, but it was also a contentious decision because I don't think that affected the play that happened afterwards. Yes, they won the ball, but it had nothing. It had no bearing to the goal. I don't know why they have to go so far back because if you remember last year, the when
yeah,
United were playing Saints, Maguire was
uh-huh.
fouled in the build-up, but they never
Yeah,
counted that, saying it didn't hamper the rest of
play.
the what do you say the play to the goal. So I don't know if you remember that.
yeah, I do, I
Yeah, yeah.
do. But I
We
think the only defense to that, I mean, only what do you call the argument to that this thing was the ball goes from Odegaard to Saka, and then that goes straight out to Martinelli. So you could say that's still the same phase of play. So because it
It's the
happens
same.
so quick,
It
right?
was the same last year also, right? Have some consistency. The ball got nicked off of Maguire in the same passage of play. The ball was played to, was it Charlie Adams? I don't remember who that
Yeah,
was.
Charlie Adams. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie Adams.
Oh,
Che
sorry,
Adams, not Charlie
Che
Adams.
Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Charlie Adams. Hmm.
Che Adams.
Charlie
It
Adams
was
is
in the
long gone.
same passage of play, same phase of play, and it was a goal. So you need to have consistency. You can't have something one season and then something
So
else the next
I was
season.
watching the game with the with a Arsenal fan, and like he also agreed that was a foul in the build-up.
It was a foul. It was a soft foul. I'm not saying it wasn't a foul. It
It's
was
just
a
the
very,
consistency of
very, very
refereeing.
soft foul. But I'm just talking about the consistency of referee and consistency of VAR. You can't have something
Yeah,
one
true.
season and then you can't have something else the next season, right? There has to be some level of
But
consistency.
also it depends on who's sitting behind the VAR desk, right? It's not
So
all
I don't think VAR. Yeah, I think Akshay kind
it's
of
not all computer.
inadvertently.
It's there's part human influence that goes behind it.
I
See,
And
don't. Yeah,
for
as
VAR,
Akshay.
I'll tell you what, Akshay, for VAR to overturn a decision, it has to be clear and obvious, right?
yeah,
That is number one. Like the for any decision to be overturned, it has to be clear and obvious. I don't think any of the four decisions were clear and obvious for it to be overturned this weekend, at least.
I think the as regard. I mean, with regards to the Chelsea West Ham game, that was a bizarre goal.
yeah.
Like I remember watching it and thinking, what the hell? Because it's Mendy who comes running out and then just clatters into I think is it Bowen?
Bowen.
Like
Yeah,
he
Bowen. It
clatters
was
into
Bowen.
Bowen. So Mendy is no business being. I mean, I guess it's the 6 yard. It's like the 6 to the 12 yard box, 18 yard box. You kind of have to command it, but he puts himself in that position. It's not like Bowen chases him down, kicks his feet, and sends him to the ground. I think he clutches his shoulder or feigns some sort of a weird
Yeah,
injury.
yeah. He
So
classed upper chest.
Upper chest, yeah.
yeah, upper yeah, some it was
And I don't really
bizarre.
blame Bowen for committing that foul.
Honestly,
In the
the
last
only thing I'd blame Bowen for was the heavy touch that gave Mendy a chance to
Yeah, that's
get
possibly.
to the ball. Yeah, that's the only thing I would blame
that's
Bowen. But
yeah.
apart from that, I
But in
don't
such
think
a
there was.
high moving game, it's difficult, to
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
say what's right and what's wrong.
Cornet should have put West Ham ahead. Like when we speak about Chelsea, we can talk about it. But Cornet, like literally 3-4 minutes earlier, should have put West Ham ahead
Hits
with
the
an
post. Yeah.
open header.
Yeah, he hit
Yeah,
the post. Yeah,
It
that would
hits
have
the
sealed
post
the
on.
game because West Ham would have then led 2-1, and
yeah.
they would have
And it would
shut
have been
shop.
difficult.
Chelsea wouldn't even have scored the second goal. That's what I feel. But anyway,
Huh.
let's finish the United Arsenal game. I think, like you mentioned, the 18 pass goal. I think there were two mistakes that was made there. One, Zinchenko should have stayed with his runner. Instead, he tried to come narrow.
I don't blame Zinchenko. I blame Gabriel because
Yeah,
Gabriel
yeah. Gabriel steps out. Yeah, Gabriel steps out
rushes
to.
out,
Yeah,
tackles Bruno, completely mistimes it, and then
Yeah, he
suddenly the
missed time.
backline is exposed. It's a 3v3,
yeah,
and what happens is like Sancho gets the ball, he quickly rolls it to Rashford, and then Zinchenko panics because the other centre back has disappeared and
Yeah,
fully rushes over to try and shut Rashford down. Rashford with the easiest of through balls, great pass by the way,
yeah, that
sets
was a
up
great one.
Anthony. Bang! But my favorite part of that is because when that 18 pass goal, it starts off with Anthony on
it's
the far
Sancho
end, like yeah, and
dancing.
he tries to do he
Yeah,
tries to do a step over, it doesn't work, and then it goes back, and then you can hear the Arsenal fans
They
jeer,
recycle possession and then it comes back
yeah,
all the way to him. So
and
that's
then
actually a beautiful move.
yeah, because I think like the entire team had sat back and was waiting
Yeah,
for United to lose the ball. So the ball goes back, the team moves up the pitch, and as soon as Eriksen gets the ball deep, he finds
first
Bruno
ball.
with a
yeah.
great pass, bang, and and the rest is history.
Dude, do
Uh,
you realize that we watched United play like this since Carrick, where nobody had the vision or the skill to play balls like that? Like, how have we like lived like this? I just don't. I have no clue, dude.
remember the Carrick
It's
to Chicharito pass? I think it was an FA Cup game. I think
No.
the Chelsea game.
The the dink.
Against Chelsea. So I think he from midfield he like sends it, lobs, like chips it into the box, and then Chicharito is running onto it, and then heads it past Check. It's a thing of beauty. Like Carrick had these weird quarterback role kind of passes. So it was just like it was a thing of beauty.
I think that
We
was
haven't
an
had it.
FA Cup game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant. Like it's an FA Cup game.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So um,
But
kind
you
of
had Mata, who's been sort of visionary with those passes.
Yeah, but like
legs
he
And
went
always
too
played
soon,
further
dude.
forward, right? And
yeah,
he also played for like where Ericsson's playing now. Imagine like Fred and
that,
McNown.
yeah.
Like the best part was the United players themselves are saying it that now with Ericsson there, we are all ready to receive the ball quicker, faster. So we're making the run. The United players themselves, like Bruno. If you, I don't know if you guys watched the post match interview.
Mhm.
He says as soon as Ericsson gets the ball, I'm looking
I'm looking at
to
him. Yeah.
no, I'm looking to go forward
Looking
because I know I can
looking at
expect
him
the
and
ball.
going forward. Yeah.
And the second goal also, as soon as I
Mhm.
don't know, Dallo passes the not Dallo, who
It,
passes the ball to Ericsson? I think
Ericsson. It's
Dallo passes the
Ericsson
ball to
to
Ericsson. No,
Dallo to
first Dallo
Ericsson,
to
Ericsson to Bruno.
Ericsson to
Mhm.
Bruno. Wow, oh my God, dude! If
Bruno
that
was,
was
Yeah.
KDB,
oh my God.
if that was
Mhm.
KDB, that would have been like in the Hall of Fame of assists or something.
Yeah,
Only
Yeah. I
because
mean,
it's not
he's
exactly.
KDB,
not.
nobody's talking about.
Because it's not him. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, he's KDB. He is not like there's a KDB pass for Haaland earlier on in the Villa game, which
yeah.
oh my god, if you could not have placed it any more perfectly,
He misses
that
that,
man
doesn't
is on a
he?
He missed it, no?
Yeah.
no. It's the one that Haaland scores.
Or the jumper
In
There was
one.
one
The
yeah,
jumper
the
before.
jump.
volley.
There was one before that where he puts it on the platter and Haaland misses it.
It's just that
Go
that
back and
man.
watch
I don't
the
know.
game.
Okay, the way he whips a ball, especially that when in that corridor of uncertainty, is nobody can come
No,
close.
I'm not.
Bruno's
Look,
I probably
But you have Haaland
I'm not saying
up there,
Bruno is
no?
at the same level of KDB. I'm saying that assist was a thing of beauty.
oh for sure when with the outside of his foot that ball goes. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like Rashford should not screw this up, and he
Yeah.
doesn't. But
Dude,
let's talk about Arsenal.
It was a replica of the Liverpool goal, the second goal that Martial passes to Rashford.
Yeah.
It
Mm,
was a
mm,
perfect replica. It's like, ooh,
So I'm gonna
you,
like so the second half, right? Let's kind of like backtrack a bit to talk about Arsenal. I feel like we've Arsenal fans have been saying the same thing, and I've been saying the same thing. We've seen this game before quite a few times. It's like it's like Arteta has pulled the game plan out of the Wenger books of tactics, but the Wenger books of tactics fails to mention that it does not work with United teams because the moment they sense that Arsenal are dominating the ball, we're not really creating any chances. They
yeah.
do is soak the pressure and slam, hit them on the counter. Now,
Counter.
I wouldn't even
Exactly.
say, yeah. So with, so I akin this to like actual FIFA tactics. So Arsenal came out of for the second half with constant pressure set on, because that's kind of what they did. They were just pressing, harrying, deserved their goal when they got it. Big slice of luck. Dallo gets the ball, falls straight into the path of Saka, and as Martinez is like trying to go for the block, it goes through his legs. So it's
Mhm.
just a lot of things had to work in their factors to get that equalizer, and they deservedly needed, equalized at that point. And this is where they kind of got carried away a little bit. They were so high up the pitch. The one thing you do not give United is high lines, especially when your back line, you keep saying it's the greatest back line ever, is not equipped to handle the likes of Rashford, and I think Sancho and Anthony had come up. So Ronaldo was on there. And
Ronaldo,
so
yeah.
um, I think, go on. Sid.
no, finish. I want to say something. Finish after you're
Yeah,
done with
cool,
it.
cool. So I think Arteta has a lapse in judgment, thinking that Ronaldo doesn't press, when in fact Ronaldo came on and started pressing, and so that was like a big okay, I guess. And the thing with Ronaldo is no matter how like even if he's not a pressing unit, he attracts defenders, he attracts players. And this opened up like this space for Bruno because I couldn't believe where Bruno got the ball and there was nobody around him. I was like, okay, I guess what's happening. And then one ball, Rashford is through, 2-1. United are done. And then comes the even more strange decision to switch. I think he goes to a 4-4-2. I hear the commentators go for a 4-4-2 in attack and a 3-5-2 in defense or something along those lines.
Mhm. Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. He plays. Martinelli and Jesus as the front two.
I think Saka. No, I think Martinelli is a wing back. I think Nketiah and Jesus
Yeah.
are the two strikers.
So let's get to the substitutions. So at I have the substitutions up. He takes off Ronaldo. I mean, he takes off Anthony, brings on Ronaldo. This is in the 58th minute, right?
Right. Mm.
Immediately after which Saka scores. He
Yeah.
and let's face it, it was the two goals United have conceded since Licha and Varane have started have been like dodgy goals. Let's face that.
Very dodgy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Salah one was like pinball and
Mm-hmm.
goal, and this one Dalot for I mean he literally clears the ball and it falls at Saka's feet.
Unlucky, rather.
Yeah,
Unlucky.
Very unlucky. Mm.
two dodgy goals. Okay, Saka scores 60th minute. These guys believe that because there's Ronaldo, he's not going to run in behind, plays such a high line that their defense is at the halfway line.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you said, Rashford, Bruno capitalizes on that. Rashford scores. That's 66. As soon as they score, he takes off Sancho, brings on Fred. When he brings on Fred, it doesn't mean that he's containing the game because let's face it, Fred's box to box. If he was going to
Yeah.
contain the game, he would have brought on Casemiro.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's made two subs. One's Ronaldo because he needs to keep him happy. Second, second one is Fred because he wants some energy in midfield. So what does he do? He brings off Sancho, plays Bruno on the
On the
right.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
plays Bruno on the right, plays Fred and Ericsson, and then
Ericsson and
yeah, and
McTominay in the center.
McTominay behind. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's his three in midfield.
Hmm.
To counter that, and then after that, McTominay does the body slam on Jesus,
Yeah.
the, the suplex.
The suplex. It was.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Okay, then you if you look at the way City, Liverpool, even the old United team and like the way they chase the game or the teams like City and Liverpool chase the game, they don't chase the game rashly at the 75th minute. They
Mhm.
they wait till the 85th minute and then throw on 5 6 forwards
Yeah.
or attacking players. They play
Mhm.
in their system. They play. Our man here in in one substitution brings on Emil Smith Rowe fa- from Martin Odegaard, and let's face it,
Hmm.
Odegaard was running Ericsson ragged.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What
He
about a
brings on
good game?
Fabio Vieira for Lokongo, and he brings on Enketia for Zinchenko. I have no clue what that third sub was all about. Okay,
Mm. I
okay,
think basically him
Is
pushing
it?
if I'm going to try and make sense of the third sub. I believe he pushes Martinelli to left back, Osaka to left back, and so that gives Nketiah and Jesus a two up top. So it's
okay.
almost
So
like a wing back. Yeah,
who's the three in midfield then? Who's the three in midfield then?
it's a two
Smith
in
Rowe.
midfield.
Okay,
And
who's Smith
Shaka,
Rowe and Shaka?
Smithrow,
Okay,
Shaka. Yeah, I'm not sure where Vieira goes. I think Vieira goes on the right, and I think. I don't know. It's a very bizarre formation. So it's
that's
4-4-2,
exactly
right?
like I couldn't understand it. So if I mean, I'm sure they could. The players knew what they were doing, but it was exactly
Did they?
he made these substitutions at the 74th minute. So I don't think they sorted it out by them between themselves where who had to play because exactly at that time Dalot got the ball. There was nobody in the left back area who would have tracked
Hmm.
that run of Ericsson. Ericsson literally ran from
From his own
maybe 10
half.
yards. Yeah, from within 10 yards from his own half, all the way, got the ball, made the entire run, and Ericsson's not the fastest player. Let's
He's
face it.
really
Right.
not.
And
Yeah. Not at all.
that was a sweat. Okay, he just sweated it to Rashford.
I
So
really want United to sweat goals, dude. They don't sweat enough, morons. Like put balls
They
into the
did
back of
FIFA
empty
teams.
nets. Yeah, no, put balls into the back of empty nets. It's fine. Like it's fine to sweat. No one gives a shit. You've officially solidified your win. And after that, I think that took the wind out of Arsenal's sails.
yeah, at that point it was
And
over because
Yeah.
you know what, like that those three subs. If you look at it, like at some point substitutions do change and win matches. The substitutions that
Or lose.
Ten Hag made. He made them
Mm.
tactically in the sense that let me bring Ronaldo first, then Fred for more energy, then we'll bring on, and then he brought
Slap
on
him.
his defenders to
Slap him.
kill the game. He brought on Casemiro and
Mm.
Maguire. Maguire because he wanted to protect Martinez, and Casemiro to kill the game.
Mm-hmm.
This man here, he thought his team was prime Manchester, excuse me, Manchester City. Let me bring on whoever I want because we're going to have the 70% of the possession, which is the worst thing to do against United
Mm-hmm.
at
The
Old
newly
Trafford,
formed United.
and
Yeah. Especially the
they
newly
kill the
formed.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, this is United of 2 years ago. This is not rocket science. Like, I think he realized that's the only way that United can win is sit back and counter, sit back and counter, which is why Ronaldo is not going to get much game time. He'll probably get game time in the Europa or like versus a team that's going to sit back and where you'll need like headed goals or something.
Yeah, I think
But I don't
it's a
see.
matter. We know our front three up till January is going to be Rashford, Sancho, and Anthony.
Yeah.
That's the front three, and you're going to have Bruno and
But it also
Eriksen
depends on
Or Martial.
or
It's
it
going to
Martial
be
depends
vice
on
between
versa.
those or Martial, Alanga, and I mean, it's going to
or
be a
Anthony
combination of one of these five,
or three
Hmm.
three of
Anthony's.
these five rather. Yeah,
Yeah. So you don't know, right? Like it could be anything. And United as so I think for 15 minutes of the game you saw the kind of football Ten Hag wants to play and the kind of football Ten Hag is, and then the rest of the game you saw the kind of football Ten Hag is okay playing, which I never thought would happen. I thought he would be a stickler for his philosophy. It would be go
props to
horizontal, but
him
in
though for
fact,
realizing that.
mm, yeah, because
Props
he
to him
went
though for
vertical.
realizing it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So like he went vertical, and then it was suddenly we were all reading the same story once again. Arsenal on an invincible run come to Old Trafford and lose a game. So it's just, I mean, my Arsenal fans aren't happy. I've been giving them grief all week.
Yeah.
So, but not because of anything. It's just that see, as much as I believe this Arsenal team is very good, I think Jesus had a great game, completely
Dude, all honestly,
annoyed the
all three
likes
of
of
them,
Varane.
Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus had a brilliant game.
They're
Martinelli
both,
had Martinelli had Dalot on toast the entire of the first half. He was listless in the second
Yeah.
half. Saka
yeah.
had
Second half, I think,
Malacia
yeah. Mm.
on toast the entire game.
Yeah, for sure. I think Malacia had his possibly his most difficult game yet. I
Yeah.
think Martinelli kind of has his gas tank is not as efficient, so which is why he ultimately ends up fading in for the most of second half games. But with Saka kept going. He was not super effective. Kind of semi. Like I don't think it was a dive. I thought he was anticipating contact um, against Martinez in the first half. But until that goal, fairly inconsequential. Didn't really do much. Just was pulling the left back in and out, but not really having a direct impact on the game. And what does this mean for like for United though? Because now this puts us what on 4 wins on the trot with a difficult. I'd say this is probably one of the more difficult fixtures coming up. They go to Palace on the weekend, so
Are they
where
playing
that will
Palace?
be
I think the Palace away, right?
yeah, Palace away, which is never an easy place to go to.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good game. I think if they come off that game with a win, then it's Leeds at home, and you know what's going to happen. Leeds at home, triple
This is a
captain
different
Marcus
Leeds.
Rashford.
So different Leeds, unfortunately. It's not the Bielsa's suicidal Leeds, where when I'm watching this game and McTominay scored 2 in 3 minutes, and I'm just
I
trying to
still
make
can't
sense
believe
of.
that game. It was the late game on a Saturday.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was the evening game, and like my friends had
It's the
all
opening. I
gone
remember the
out.
opening day fixture
No, no, we're talking
No,
about the 6-2.
the six
or
two
the
Leeds
repeat. The
game
repeat.
where
Yeah,
Nexar scores two
Yeah.
in like in the space of 3 minutes or something.
in the first 3 minutes, no less, because there is a Leeds
Yeah.
fan cam that I keep going back to watch, their reactions. And before the game, they're all about like, oh, we're going to break this person's legs. We're going to like take this person out. It's going to be blood and thunder. Leads are back. Yeah. And within 3 minutes, they're screaming and they're yelling and they're like, this is, and one of them just disconnects, never comes back. So it's kind of hilarious. I'll send it to you guys when we're done talking. But
Was that the
anyway, back
Pogba 4 assist game, mate? No, that was a different game.
that
Pogba 4
that
assist
was
game.
the yeah.
That
That
was
was the
the
opening
previous
game of the season.
That was the
Yeah.
5-1.
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah,
the
that was
Fred
that was
scoring the fifth
yeah.
goal.
Fred scores the fifth. Mason scores.
Yeah.
I think the immediate response.
Mason scores. Bruno scores.
Bruno
Yeah, Bruno
scored
A
scores
whole
two,
bunch
right?
of people scores.
Yeah.
Bruno had a hat trick in that game. Bruno had a hat trick.
Three.
Yeah, one was Lindelof where he passes
Yeah, Lindelof,
Yeah.
in the
Fred, and
channel.
Patrick. Yeah.
Opening day fixture of last season.
Yeah, opening day
But things were going very, very differently compared to
Until
us this
Ronaldo
time.
came in.
Yeah, until Ronaldo came in. So what could have been with the Ole Solskjaer regime? You never know.
I still feel I don't know. Yeah, you never know. I still feel without Ronaldo we would probably finish third, maybe second, third. Yeah, I guess third.
This season?
I think no, last season. I think
Last
But I
season.
think we were winning
Without
because of
Ronaldo,
him.
I'm saying without Ronaldo.
PBH, we were actually winning because of him. Like we basically
No,
won which of
look,
we played.
look. You know what? Everybody says, where would we be without Ronaldo's goal? Ronaldo scored exactly 0 goals this season.
This season, yeah.
Yet we're like 3 points off the top.
Yeah.
yeah. So I feel last season we sacrificed so much of what made United tick in the season before that to accommodate for Ronaldo's goals.
Exactly.
And that was a
And it
heavy,
didn't
heavy
help
sacrifice.
our cause with. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. When he banged against Newcastle, I was in dreamland. It was like
Oh.
2008.
Oh,
was,
dude.
Nine all over again.
It was like you know
That
when
was
you
nostalgia.
you play like
Flashback.
a greatest hits, yeah, imagine the best greatest hits music of CD of all time, and you've injected it into your veins, and like you're on this insane high. It was a perfect return. It had everything, but the things about those highs is they don't really last long, and that's exactly what
Yeah.
happened. But right now it's
Anyway, I think
let's talk about let's talk about Arsenal for a bit. Where do they go from?
let's talk about.
Do we?
Yeah, let's talk about Arsenal. I was about to just say that. Let's talk about Arsenal. I think you know what? I think this is just a one-off game where they got sucked into the United trap.
As per usual.
I think they'll be
It's not a
fine. I
one-off.
think. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll still finish on the top four for me. I think
I still
it'll
have
be
them in the top four. Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, same here.
It'll be them. They're North London rivals, and City and Liverpool. I still think that'll be the
I don't
top.
know about Liverpool though.
I mean,
Liverpool,
see, they're
you
not
don't know,
clicking
right?
yet, but even Liverpool, it was the same. Like last year, they started really well, then they went off the boil, and then imagine they were literally 7 minutes away from winning the league. So you can never count Liverpool out. And this is despite the fact that Mane and Salah were at the AFCON. So
I think the Mane absence hurts them a lot this time.
Yeah.
And I think the next game we'll talk about after this game we'll talk about the Merseyside derby. But
let's before we wrap up on Arsenal, I just think I think one thing about Arsenal is they're still very naive when it comes to chasing games, especially against a little better team than say like who did they beat the week before? Leeds or Newcastle?
they beat Fulham,
They beat Fulham.
Fulham, yeah, they beat Fulham.
and then they beat Villa after
Let's
that.
face it, both United are a little better than both those teams. I mean, the quality
Of course,
is a little
yeah.
better than both those teams.
Yeah.
Even though they fell behind or they were drawing at the same time against these teams, their quality showed in the end. But United possess a little bit better quality, so they're still naive when it comes to chasing games. They're really good when they're leading and they're winning 2-0 or 3-0.
Yeah.
It's that
Even
when they're chasing games, they're very naive.
Someone pointed this out to me. In possession, they're great, but out of possession, they look clueless. Even Leicester, who are terrible, who are, honestly, I
They're
think are on
ball
relegation
team.
form.
They're
Yeah,
going
at this point,
down.
which is cut.
They're going down.
If they don't fix up, they're definitely going down. I think they may be too good to go down. they may be too good to go down, but I'm not quite sure if that they actually will.
Yeah, they've
But
lost all their games, right? Basically.
they've lost
Dude,
every
Brendan
single. I think
Rodgers
they drew
looks
one.
Now they drew
1-1.
one and lost
The
five.
drawn,
Yeah,
they've
yeah. I
drawn one,
just checked.
lost everything else. Dude, Brendan Rodgers looks resigned. He's like, I am done with this. You guys didn't put a single penny into the team, and you pretty much selling everybody,
Mm.
whoever you want. I don't know how he managed to hold on to Yuri Tielemans.
I don't think
But I
anybody.
think I think everyone's waiting on that on Tielemans to run down his contract and then get him on a free because that uh, either he's not a good he's not a good uh, track back kind of guy. It's probably why certain teams are staying off him. His work rate may not all be there, but in terms of passing ability, I think it would be great to have Tielemans given that Ericsson is literally playing with a pacemaker. So
I
I
don't.
would,
He's
yeah, I would.
that's yeah. I
He
mean,
still run
Have you?
more than any United player this
Yeah,
season.
which is so somebody
it's
said
scary at times. Yeah.
they haven't put a pacemaker in him. They've put Iron Man's arc reactor into him. That's the only
Clearly,
clearly.
clearly.
It's you can see the light coming out of his chest. It's the arc reactor. It's not the pacemaker. So it's like it's still kind of scary, right? For me, that's all I'm thinking. At around the 60th minute, I'm like, okay, can we get Ericsson off and could we get somebody like Fred on? Because Fred carries the ball well. He's not an excellent passer, but I think after having
If he had like waited for like a tenth of a second and passed that ball, Ronaldo is scoring that goal.
oh for sure. But now here's the thing. Before we conclude our thoughts on this game, if I told you a month ago after the Brentford result that United would sign Casemiro and that Scott McTominay would keep him out of the squad, what would you have called me?
Retarded.
Yeah,
I
basically.
would have been pissed first of all that Maxos was starting over Casemiro.
But
I think it's also because it's
But
working
he's done
for him
pretty
right
well.
now.
Listen. Credit where credit's due. He's done extremely well alongside Ericsson. I think the reason is he's just breaking plays, and Ericsson's doing all of the passing. And I've noticed this like more often than not. As soon as Scott gets the ball, he looks up to see where Ericsson is, and
Yeah,
straight away
yeah.
passes it to him. He doesn't even
yeah, I think
bother
he's like there was
looking to
a
anybody
pass
else.
there was a pass in that game, and I was lying down watching the game, and then I got up. I'm like, wait, who made that pass? I rewinded 10 seconds, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, Scott McTominay is capable of those passes. Okay, like this man is clearly a genius. And then I'm like, okay, fine. Scott McTominay is breaking play up, beating up people, suplexing Gabriel Jesus to the floor, which was beautiful.
That was my
There's
moment
I
of
don't
the
know.
game.
Yeah, he just catches him and suplexes him. And you know what? I kind of there's a moment where Jesus like hits his head on the turf, and after McTominay disposes the ball of him cleanly, and
I
I was
remember.
like, wow, McTominay is really uh, on it today.
Dude, think
So
about
as
it.
much
Five managers have
Surprisingly,
played him. Five managers have played him.
there's something about McSauce, dude. You can't like he's inevitable.
Five managers. Not one, not two, not three. Five have played him. And one interim manager. I mean, I don't know if that
Of course,
counts.
yeah.
Carrick counts or not, but
Carrick.
like,
yeah, he
yeah.
counts.
If you
I
count
think he
Carrick,
counts.
six managers have played him. So, oh my
The
god!
McTom.
And that's when you have like one of the greatest holding midfielders this generation has ever seen sitting on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Casemiro is not quite up to speed. You could tell when he came on, he kind of gets dispossessed, and then that's why
Yeah, I think
Maguire
he
has to
still
take the
needs a
yellow card.
few. Yeah, I think he still needs
Maguire takes, yeah.
a bit of time. I think maybe play one or two Europa games and then see if he gets back up to speed. With
I think we'll see. But I think Casemiro will become a mainstay just before the World Cup or just after the World Cup. I don't know what the plan is.
I
I
think
don't
the
know.
thing is, I think he's going with a very simple thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it, yeah.
yeah,
But it's also please if it ain't broke and one of them is running with a pacemaker, maybe keep that in mind. So
he
No,
definitely needs to keep that.
see, the problem is who does he play there then? Because then he'll have to play the two Brazilians. He'll have to play Casemiro and Fred.
And
If he's
who
going
have
to
only
yank
they
lost
versus
one
Brazil.
in who have only
They
one
lost
really
game out
one
work
of
in
well with
18 to
20.
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but then you will not get the passer, right? Fred's a carrying he's a player who carries the ball. He doesn't pass it.
I guess
He's not
then
a great
Bruno has
passer,
to
is he?
sit back and do the passing.
Yeah, I think Bruno will have to take on the Ericsson role. That's kind of why.
Yeah.
So Bruno might be more withdrawn in that system. You never know, because right now
Or,
Bruno's
or,
playing
or
like.
he can play them for the first 60 minutes and then bring on Ericsson for that.
Or he plays Van der Beek with Casemiro.
Yeah, you. Oh,
That's,
there's. Oh,
that's
I
actually,
completely forgot. I completely forgot about Donny Van de Beek. Yeah, I think he's injured right now, but
is he?
yeah, he's injured. I read read that he was injured last time around. So
I think Ajay is getting us some breaking news. Ajay, can you confirm that news is true? Because I know he was getting a trial with Wolves, but can you confirm to us that that has actually happened?
straight into my
Wolves.
FPL squad. So for
Yeah,
those of you
he's on that.
listening
Yeah.
to on the pod, Diego Costa is back in the Prem, boys. This is going to be fun. I really
I
wished.
he was
You
it,
know what?
who was he playing?
Sorry,
You know
I
what?
think he was
Chelsea
free.
should
He
have
was
gone for him, honestly.
not a bad
No,
idea,
he's
dude.
playing for the Brazilian team with the black and white stripes. What's it
Flamengo.
called? Not
Flamengo.
Flamingo.
Fred
Yeah.
will kill me.
Flamenco.
Flamengo.
No, Atletico
Yeah, yeah.
Mineiro. Mineiro.
Okay.
He was whichever team is the one with the black and white stripes. He was playing for that
Yeah,
team.
Atletico Mineiro. Mineiro.
Okay, yeah. So Ajay is saying medical is tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I just googled it. He's seems to be
This is
on
beautiful.
point.
Oh man, guess who's coming straight into my FPL?
Bro, you
When do
still have
Arsenal?
got Haaland on your team, and you're talking
Huh?
about Diego Costa here.
What?
What, you don't have Haaland on your team?
He still doesn't have Haaland on his team,
No,
and he's
bro.
talking about Diego Costa.
I mean,
Wow,
I'm
dude,
waiting
you are
for
like,
Haaland to get injured and then his price to drop, and then I'll get him.
my God, this is
Because
like
trust
those
me, his
tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists.
his
Like I
his
think
price is go his price is going to drop so fast that they'll have to put that cap. You know that cap where you can't fall more than point 0.3 in one game week.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I have
But does he have a
forget
record of?
injured. Forget injured. If Pep
He
drops him
gets
for a game, his
hmm,
price is going to drop.
like
but I
you
don't
heard
see
it
that
first
happening.
here, folks. Like secret FPL tips the experts don't want you to know about.
Oh, bro. If
Hmm.
I'm able to stay within touching distance, having just Kane,
But are you?
I
I
don't know
don't.
what to
Hmm.
say.
I mean, right now, I think Kane, Haaland is the most informed striker in the league. He had two
He is.
back-to-back
He is
hat
by
tricks,
far. He is by far.
and if you
But
notice, actually
Kane's
now,
consistent, right? Kane's consistent. He's
yeah,
getting an assist. He's getting a goal, assist, goal, assist, goal,
They
assist.
both
So
had the same number of points this week. Just
yeah, I know.
FYI.
So
mm,
Yeah.
it's not too bad. This Salah
but
dude, I
okay.
need to get him out of my team.
See,
Oh,
Let's
I
speak
I
about
agree
would
with
okay.
let's
you.
you know what? Let's speak about the Merseyside. That's a nice segue into the Merseyside derby.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to you about something I have done since game week one. Game week one, I owned Salah. I looked at him. I think they played Fulham that game week, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
2-2
I
draw.
saw he was so wide and so out of touch with the play. I was like, okay, boys, this is it. I have never been quicker to get somebody out. Would never have thought of getting Salah out of my squads, but I haven't owned him since game week one. And so far, I like to think that I haven't been punished for it as much.
Not
Luis
at all.
Diaz is, yeah, I brought in Luis Diaz in his stead, seems to be the more dependable one because everything seems to be going through that left hand side of Liverpool. So if you're an FPL asset, if you're an FPL manager, that's probably something you should highly consider. For 13 million, he's sitting on your bench and just accumulating assist
Nothing.
points,
Yeah.
doing absolutely nothing. Maybe he'll come good. Maybe he'll score the odd goal here and there. But for the amount that he costs you and for what you're getting in return, there are far better options out there.
If
Now, with
he
regards to the
just want
yeah,
to
so
butt in here and
yeah,
say, if he blanks on a 9-goal Liverpool win, that's your answer right there.
there was a stat, right? What are the odds of that happening? And it was like 1 in 900,000 or something.
Yeah.
So
So
it was kind
if he
of
blanks on a 9-goal Liverpool game, then why do you still have him on your team? You know,
exactly.
But a
So you,
Salah dude, like I mean, I guess I'm a sucker for nostalgia.
I
I
was
would
until last
listen.
week,
He does, yeah. So I
and
think
I
I've been
don't miss. I
I've
don't
been
like that.
coaxing Akshay out of the cult of Salah for like about 2 weeks now, because
And I
I've been
finally gave
telling
in
him.
last week, and I don't regret that.
See, that's the
because I got
thing,
it
right?
wrong,
Like, it's like,
and he's returning for me, right? So
yeah, there we go. It's like you move from one cult to the other. That's how you get out of cults. But I mean, jokes aside, that being, let's just go back to the Merseyside derby.
Merseyside.
Blood and if there ever was a game that could be best described as blood and thunder, that was probably this game because it was frantic from like frenetic even
And that was
from
one of
start to
the most
finish.
exciting nil-nils I've watched for a
Yeah,
long time now.
which Everton turned up, and how did they
I
turn
have
up?
no clue. They were dominating parts of that game. Like Liverpool didn't know like what to do at certain points in time. Like,
Yeah, they had no idea what had hit them.
It was very frustrating because I was a little caught up at the time, so I was asking people about what was happening in the game, and I was getting messages were filtering through. Oh, Mope just missed a sitter. Connor Cody had a goal disallowed. So by the time I managed to put the game on, the first thing I see is Virgil van Dijk almost break a dude's leg, and
oh,
I was
that was Onana.
yeah
Yeah,
under Onana, yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, maybe I should. I am the bad luck for Virgil van Dijk. Every time I've seen him play, he's kind of messed up some way or the other. So I'm definitely going to watch him play next week. I'm just kidding. So literally, quite literally, the moment I turned it on, I was like, okay, what is happening here? And then it by the time I put the game on, Liverpool were back in the ascendancy, and I think around the 94th minute, Salah hits the post.
Oh,
Uh,
Salah didn't
so I
hit the
didn't.
post. Pickford saved it onto the post.
Oh,
no man, so it was.
I guess your England's Pickford showed up yesterday.
Oh, England Pickford definitely showed up. You've seen
Bro,
the saves he was making.
That was insane.
brilliant. He
Brilliant.
was. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Pope. I guess Pope made 9 saves, but I'm surprised Pope was the highest scoring goalkeeper this week. I thought Pickford will surely be the highest scoring goalkeeper this week.
Yeah, Jordan Pickford is again going to be my pick for Golden Glove winners at the World Cup. FYI, guys, before it's cool to jump on the bandwagon.
I mean, England playing back
Like
five, obviously, is going to be the Golden Glove winner.
I didn't, yeah, it's for sure, but it's like England Pickford and Everton Pickford are two very different entities, right? As we've known that in the
But
past.
yesterday was the England Pickford that showed up for sure.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure, for sure.
was kind of nuts
And
to
I don't
see
know
him the way it
what it
is.
was like. I don't know what Everton showed up yesterday. To be honest, it was maybe it was just because it was a derby at Goodison. They were pumped up or something. But Everton played really well. I think Everton was the only team that put the ball in the net.
Hmm.
Uh,
And Liverpool,
Unfortunately,
like,
it was scratched off for offside.
That was
And
also like
Liverpool,
a hair's inch, like
it was the only reason was because of his shoulder, because
not
of
not
that
even
new
shoulder.
rule.
His one
It was
part
like
of his
because his
t-shirt. Yeah,
no, yeah, part of his t-shirt. That's what exactly what I'm saying. Like
yeah. That's
some
like
part of his
just that much,
was
like
that kind of went against Liverpool in the United game because the shoulder is what kept Rashford onside in that game,
yeah,
yeah,
and now the shoulder is what keeps Cody offside in the Everton game. So, like as you said, law of averages, these things even
yeah.
out.
yeah.
But what is
I
happening to
for
Liverpool?
basically.
I saw a tweet that said they've been outrun by all the opposition that
Yeah,
they've faced
I read that too.
this season,
Mm.
which
But so
is
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they were outrun by Bournemouth in a 9-0 defeat for
I don't.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think that in Bournemouth they picked their chances. They and I mean they did start that game like a house on fire.
Yeah,
Maybe that stat may not entirely be true given what happened at Bournemouth, but the others for sure. I believe the Everton game also they were
they were definitely
significantly
outrun in the Everton
outfought.
game. They were, yeah, yeah. But can I tell you one thing? A Liverpool fan messaged in our group, right? And this is,
Hmm.
excuse me, this is what he pointed out. The fullbacks are not pushing as much forward as they were in the previous seasons.
Hmm.
Their target man offense is not working anymore,
It really
or
isn't.
rather, it's not working. I won't say working anymore because it never even started working.
Mm.
And the midfield without Thiago is
Threadbare.
completely like
Yeah,
it is like a bald tire. it's of no use right now.
Hmm.
They really need to figure out whether they're going to play in this way moving forward. Okay, look, Diaz is not Mane, but Diaz is good. Let's give credit where it's due. Diaz is no
Hmm.
Mane, right?
Yeah, agreed.
They went and spent how much? 95 million on
It,
Nunes,
it, it, 85 million
85 million on
pounds,
Nunes,
100
right?
million euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So they have to play him. After spending 100 million, you have to play him. You don't have a choice. If you're going to do that, then Salah will be there doing the. I don't know if you guys have seen the heat map of Salah in the last
Hmm.
three games. It's just been red on
No,
the touchline,
yeah. It's always on the
nothing
red.
else.
he's been too wide. Yeah, he's been way too wide, and it's not
And
working.
Salah out wide is not working. Salah out wide reminds me of the Chelsea Salah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, and I think he brought off Nunes at some point in the game, and he was playing Firmino also. That was when Salah became most effective. That's when you saw Salah take that shot on goal. In
Hmm.
fact, he had three shots on goal after Nunes came off, which is clearly the way Liverpool. And because he comes in so deep,
Hmm.
Mr. Trent has all of that space. He has the entirety of the right wing to work with, which then
Yeah,
get allows him to come forward. So all of
but
this
he's been getting
is,
subbed off as well. Like he got subbed
Yeah,
off on the
he
15th.
got subbed
I
off.
think I think you're the one who you must I don't know. I think it was you who said they're all on asthma pumps at this point in time.
Yeah, more or less, right? Like it's you feel like they're cycling
Yeah.
off that one season where everyone
Hmm.
cycles off and they cycle back on. That's the highest number of asthmatics in the Prem for some reason, and they run like that. I don't know, guys. Maybe there's something in the water at Melwood. That's all I'm saying. So allegedly, and uh,
Yeah,
it's just like the team looks gassed. I think this I mean if we can talk about like tactics, we can talk about anything. They just look tired. They went on a four competition run last season. They haven't fully recovered from it. And
I think they
the
lost
mid
they lost their linchpin, I think.
They really did. They really did.
yeah.
Who's now
It's
playing
coming back
number
the first
nine?
time now.
Yeah, who's now playing number nine at Bayern Munich and absolutely crushing it. I think Luis Diaz is good. I think he,
But then again, it's Bayern Munich
yeah,
Yeah,
and
but then
and the
by the way,
Bundesliga.
they're not leading the table.
No,
Just so that you
is
know, Akshay.
Dortmund
Dortmund
Dortmund's
Dortmund
is
are
leading
top of
the
the table.
table. Yeah.
crazy
We could have a
Yeah.
different
So
like outcome of the Bundesliga this year.
for the first time in 4 years.
And in 4 years, like 9 years,
yo,
the last
first
time it
time
happened was
since
Klopp.
Klopp, yeah,
Oh,
first
nine
Klopp.
time since
years.
Klopp.
Oh shit.
Yeah, oh, 10 years. I think 2012 was the last time. 2012 was when they won the Champions League, or 2013 they won the Champions League. That season, the
2013 they
season
won the
before,
Champions League.
they won the treble,
Bayern
and the season before that, Klopp beat them.
Bayern won the Champions League. The season before that, Klopp won the Bundesliga.
Bundesliga, yeah. So it's been 10
Oh
years.
shit. Yeah, 10 years.
So
Crazy.
about time that we see a new champion in the Bundesliga. I'm quite sick of seeing Bayern winning things.
Yeah,
But
really.
I don't think with Liverpool it's going to be tricky to see what you never know with these guys, right? Like one day you're like, oh, Liverpool are out of it, and then they'll snap back into form and go on this insane run, absolutely decimating teams, accumulating points like no one's business. But I feel like if you've noticed, they've almost gone from a vertical style of football to horizontal style, where they go side to side a lot more often. And as opposed to Man City, who have gone more vertical. Now, I think let's talk about the City Villa game. Now, City are masters of recycling possession, but every time they had to get a shot off in the box, it would go to Haaland. I noticed after a point that every time De Bruyne got the ball, every time Foden got the ball, the directive was to find Haaland.
Yeah.
And I think even Villa got wise to the idea after a point and said, okay, fine, we'll funnel him out. He's good. He's very good, but he's not four players on top of you, squeeze a shot out good, right? And that's kind of, and City were rushing it. Like it was never like they'd settled into the game, and they never, like they didn't kill the game. And all it took, like Leon Bailey had one shot which he flashed wide just before he ended up
Mm.
scoring, which is a
Mm.
great
Mm.
finish, by the way.
Yeah, that was a
And
great,
like we
great
and
save.
like we discussed with the Coutinho thing, that really should have been a goal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they
That
should have been
that
a goal.
made no sense whatsoever, because Coutinho comes on and then comes on. Maybe Edison makes more of an effort to save it, but I think the guy puts his flag up, the referee blows, and that's a mistake on their part. That's not anybody else's fault. VAR can't intervene because the whistle has been blown. So very very stupid on the officials
Yes,
there to
yeah.
have put them into that position. I doubt it does little to City's title hopes. I think they still absolutely steamroll the crap out of everyone and ride off into the sunset with the third consecutive title. But they do seem a lot more one note than they have in the previous seasons. Because right
Again,
now
I
it's
think
like,
again it's down to because they've signed a target man. I think it's like because you've signed him, you got to play him, and because you're playing him, you got to feed him. It's the same thing that
exactly.
happened to United last season. Because you signed
Yeah.
Ronaldo, you have to play him. Because you play him, you have to play to suit his style of play. That's it. It's plain and simple. Sometimes I mean, sometimes uh, I don't know. There's a saying, but I don't think it's apt. Uh,
Describe it. It's fine. Whatever.
no,
Yeah.
like because you've signed this guy, you have to, like there's no choice but to play him. Like it's a symbiosis, but it's hurting the team, right?
It
He's
really
getting
is.
you all the goals. He's getting you all the goals, but because he's there, now you've asked your two best players, Foden on one side and De Bruyne on the other, keep passing the ball to him rather than play, out pass them, out tire them, and then start scoring freely however you want.
Yeah.
Now
So
they
it's
can't do
just
that anymore.
they can't do that. I think that just because Haaland, was it the Forest game where his first touch was in the 12th minute and it was a
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah. So I
that was
think,
the only that was his only involvement during the entire game.
what do you mean? No, for the
Meaning
Forest
like
he
a
had a hat trick.
contribution.
He had
No,
a
then
hat trick
which was
against Forest.
which was the second game? Which was the second game they played where he scored only one goal and that was the only involvement he had
He
the
didn't
entire
score that
game.
goal, no? He didn't score that game.
Or he assisted that game.
Yeah,
He
Bournemouth.
He
assisted that
blanked
game.
Uh,
on. Didn't he
Bournemouth.
blank on
Bournemouth.
The
anything?
blank, no, the
No,
blank
no.
was an assist. The blank was an assist. He hasn't
Oh,
blanked so far.
I thought
Yeah,
he
he
did.
hasn't. No, no, like he hasn't.
No,
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 no.
he
He
got
had.
an assist.
I think he puts
Hmm.
De Bruyne through, and De Bruyne with the outside of his foot puts it into the
Foot
bottom corner.
scores it, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
his only involvement in the entire game.
So it's like it's kind of weird, right? Seeing City like that, and I don't know if that'll ever come back to bite them in the ass. I think they're just too good of a team, and with five subs
Yeah,
this
yeah.
It
They're
might
gonna
season,
next week.
they're gonna
It might.
steamroll teams.
It
Let's
might on
I mean, see,
Saturday.
they're gonna drop points here and there. Nobody can be 100% perfect,
yeah,
right? Like they're not gonna go 38-0-0. There is gonna be points drop. They're gonna lose the occasional
They've
game
already
here and
dropped
there.
points this week, no? Already.
they've
Yeah,
dropped. Yeah,
they've dropped four
they've dropped
points.
points twice.
Yeah,
Yeah, two
twice.
draws.
They drew to Newcastle and they drew to these guys.
Yeah, and probably this coming week as well.
Who do they play next week?
Spurs.
Spurs, and I think that's
Double.
a good. Yeah, it's a good
That'll be a
segue to.
good test. That'll be a good test
Yeah, do
There'll be
we
a
see
good
for
a
both
seg.
repeat of
teams involved.
last year, or
I think these are the only
Yeah,
two teams that are yet to be beaten this season, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
I think Spurs and Man City are still unbeaten in the league at this point. It's going to be interesting to see that Spurs game. I think Spurs go away to Man City for this game.
yeah, they're
And
away.
if there's anybody that is capable of getting a result out of the Man City game, it is Conte. The game last season at the Etihad was an absolute cracker. Had everything. Had drama. Had a last minute winner. Had a last minute penalty, and then a last minute winner. It was pure
And
chaos.
everything.
But I think we'll speak about that on the preview episode. But let's talk about Spurs and Fulham very quickly. They dominated that game, deservedly went 2 goals up. Son is still trying to find his form. I don't know what exactly Conte is going to do with him, how long he's going to persist before he ends up dropping him. But as good as Spurs were, that Mitrovic goal was pure sex. It
Oh,
was
beautiful.
a peach of a curler. The man is 4 goals from 6 games. He's well on his way to break his Premier League record. But the funniest thing out of all of that was Richarlison. I would have loved to have Richarlison on my team because he's just completely batshit crazy. Like he scores a goal which is offside, takes his shirt off, celebrates, gets
He
booked.
doesn't know it's offside. He doesn't know
He
it's
doesn't
offside.
realize it's
He
offside.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know it's offside, but then goal gets disallowed and he still gets booked.
No,
Poor Richarlison.
man.
I love the
Shithousery.
like.
I like his
love a team of
shithousery
shit.
though.
I imagine
Absolute chaos.
we should build out our best shithouse 11 team. Like
I
I
think
would be totally down.
Costa and Richarlison will be up top in that team.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Martinez at the back. So it's with of course McTominay in midfield. He's just not any shithouse. He's a brick shithouse. Like, but anyway, we digress. The Spurs Man City game will be interesting to watch.
I think that'll be a good test. I think that'll be a good test for both teams. I think whoever comes out on top.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say whoever comes out on top wins the league because let's face it, City's winning the league. But I think it'll expose more weaknesses of each team than strengths.
I think we have a dark horse for the league this year.
Please stop saying Spurs.
No, Eric Ten Hag's tricky rights. I'm kidding.
Never know, bro. But you never know.
Oh, please, guys, let's not.
No, please.
let's
We're not Arsenal fans.
Just because
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. We're not Arsenal fans. We probably finish about Chelsea, right? I mean, the way Chelsea is playing right now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a good segue, dude. Chelsea bereft of ideas. It's,
It's not even funny anymore. Like, dude, I think you said it like you or Dude said it many episodes ago. It was like watching paint dry, dude. Like, oh my god, it was so bad. The first
I called
half was-
this.
Oh
I-
god.
I think there was a Brentford game last season where I was watching them and I was like, guys, I don't see your attack clicking. And I think it was Chilwell scored the winner that day or whatever, because there was Lukaku was in the squad at the time, just before his big Italy interview about Inter. And I was thinking to myself,
This was the game where they won 1-0 or something.
1-0, right? Like they just squeaked through. And I was just looking at that team going, okay, your defense is stingy, but I don't see
because
where
they
your
have 5
goals are
people
coming.
defending.
Yeah.
It was like the
you have-
vanguard team of like 2015.
But I think that game
Yeah,
was saved
2015.
only because of Mendy. Nobody else.
You mean the West Ham game is what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the
No, the
game
Brentford
last
game.
Oh yeah, the Brent. Yeah, right. You're right. That Mendy was on.
If it
was
weren't
on
for
fire
Mendy,
that day.
I think they would have lost for sure.
And I think Brentford went back to the Stamford Bridge and beat them 4-0, right, or something along those lines. So they ultimately got their revenge anyway.
Yeah.
But coming back to this game, I mean, David Moyes plays a law of averages when it comes to football. It's basically a game of averages, rather. Sorry. And then he high contested second balls, scrappy, like a very scrappy style of play, like sits in, frustrates the opponent.
This is like proper Everton with Fellaini under Moyes.
Exactly. Yeah, and Suchek is turned into his Fellaini, right? And
Yeah.
with Antonio. And I don't know Skamaka how well he's going to fit into this team. He's not exactly set the world alight. They've got Paqueta as well, which is going to be interesting to see.
He was decent. I thought it was decent. I think for the way West Ham plays, I think Antonio suits the style more because they've gone through 2 strikers already. They went through Haller, Sebastian Haller, and they got one more guy who it really didn't fit, and they had to move on. I'm forgetting the name. They had Carroll for a bit before he went back.
Then they had what's his name? Didn't they have that guy from Napoli? Oh my god, I'm blanking.
Yeah, that's the guy. I'm not able to get his name up.
Felipe Anderson.
Anderson.
Felipe Anderson, and they had Enner
But he's not
Valencia.
a striker, no? But he's not a striker.
He's not. It's kind of like a winger, but they had Enner Valencia, I think, as their striker at some point.
Didn't they have the guy from Torino also?
Which guy?
I forgot his name.
No, Torino's and is Bellotti, right? As far as I know, I don't think they had him. No, I'm not. I don't think they had
Maybe
him.
I'm confusing him with somebody else. The guy who went to Southampton, the different guy,
Oh my God, what's his
different
name?
guy.
Gabardini. No, no, no.
Yeah, Gabbiadini.
Uh, no, 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 not
Manolo
him.
Gabbiadini. Yeah.
Gabardini. No, no, I don't think they ever had him.
Yeah.
But dude, like Chelsea are in trouble. Are in
Yeah.
big trouble. Raheem Sterling looks out of place
He
in
honestly, he
that
looks
team.
like the only player playing out there, though.
He does, but like you can tell the system is not suited to his
Yeah. No,
strengths.
absolutely not.
Like I was talking to Tushar about it because I don't know where he is, but when we were at lunch yesterday, and he was like, dude, he played Kai Havertz as a second striker because I think Broha is now starting games, and that's basically where he thrives in the Bundesliga. Kai Havertz played as that shadow striker, and that's where he got his goals from. And I think he's finally relented, and maybe this might be a change in fortunes for Chelsea. But if that's how they're going to play, and they've been since the Spurs game, they've been extremely, extremely terrible to watch. The Southampton defeat midweek last week also didn't really do them any favors.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very strange time to be a Chelsea fan. I don't know where they need a striker replacement, and they desperately need a shift in formation because whatever is happening right now isn't working for them.
Yeah, they've signed some three defenders this season, and no attacking.
They signed Aubameyang, right? Like Aubameyang is there, but I don't. 33-year-old Aubameyang is not.
Exactly, he's 33-year-old Aubameyang, not a 27-year-old Aubameyang.
Okay, can you pull up the Champions League fixtures to see? Let's quickly like run through them and then just call the episode. A quick shout out to Bournemouth. Bournemouth and Brentford both had crazy games this week. Ivan Toney with a wonderful hat trick, and then with Bournemouth coming back from a 2-0 2-0 deficit to win the game 3-2. Crazy game for the clubs at the bottom. I think Brentford are somewhere in the middle. McAllister scores a wonderful free kick for Brighton against Leicester. One if deserved, like I think Sid mentioned earlier on, he's kind of dropped off just for a bit.
Yeah, it was a great goal. I think he just dropped off.
Yeah, that's not a problem. But in terms of the UCL fixtures, the Champions League in Europe is back. Europa is back this week. United travel to the Saucy Dads. They're going to the San Sebastian, which I really want to go check out at some point. It's supposed to be a really nice place if you like food.
Let's do it.
Real Sociedad. Yeah, done. Let's do it. Who scored again goes to Sociedad.
Right, so here are the
But-
fixtures, if you can see.
Yeah. So Chelsea traveled away to Croatia to play Dinamo Zagreb. Madrid and Celtic. Well, that'll be a good game at Hampden Park.
That'll be a great game. Yeah.
That'll be a really fun game to watch. Sevilla Man City is no walk in the park. Lopetegui is a bit of a taskmaster, so it'll be interesting to see how Man City handle them. Paris
This game
Juventus.
This game is going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be fun. It's the Angel Di Maria derby. And
he goes back to Paris.
yeah, I'm not quite sure who Spurs play. Who do Spurs play this game week? I think they play
Marseille.
Marseille. Yeah, so they have Marseille at home, and then they travel away to Man City on the weekend. Inter Bayern is another great fixture. So Napoli, Liverpool.
And Bayern is going to be great as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun set of fixtures to watch.
I'm waiting for, I think, match day 2, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For this, yeah, for this.
Oh, Bayern Barcelona.
Yeah.
Bayern Barcelona that'll be the grudge match. No, they played each other once before. I think Bayern knocked them out of the Champions League and sent them to the Europa last season, if I'm not mistaken. So,
But didn't they play a friendly mid-season, if I'm not wrong?
they played a friendly against Man City
each
a
other.
few weeks ago.
Was
I don't
not
remember.
against Artis? Yeah, why did they play a mid-season friendly?
I don't know. I think it's some sort of money gathering exercise
I
for
think after game week 1 is when they
yeah,
played, if I'm not wrong.
yeah. Okay. I think that's us this week. I think we'll come back for the preview on Thursday. United won't have played the Europa League fixture, so that we won't be discussing that. But we will be talking about everything else that has come through in with regards to the Champions League fixtures, and we'll preview the big fixtures of the
Do we
weekend.
do we want to do score predictions, or will we figure that for the next episode?
We leave it for the preview, right? So it's
Okay.
fine. We know
If
we'll
we
do the
do,
review now.
if,
Yeah. So
if
let's.
yeah, cool.
Cool. I think that's us. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Take
Yep.
care.
See you. Cheers. Bye.